Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Shrivajan and today we are diving into the exciting world of network pen testing. In this video, I'll be guiding you through the fundamentals of network VAPT by solving some labs on Hack the Box. So these are the starting point labs. Today we'll see the tier 0, that is the most easiest ones. This will give you an overall idea about what all services usually are run when we do a network VAPT, what all services we usually find and how can we exploit them. So these will be like very basic exploit, which will be very easy to understand for beginners. And so if you have ever wanted to become a pen tester or just curious about how to secure your own network, this video is for you. Let's get started. All right, so I'm logged in Hack the Box, and you can just navigate to starting point here. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to create an account on Hack the Box so that you will be able to access these labs and challenges and follow along. And currently, Hack the Box offers these three tiers in the starting point, each representing different levels of difficulty. So we start with tier 0, and upon successfully completing the machines within this tier, we'll unlock tier 1 and tier 2, like so on. So it's like a ladder of challenges basically that progressively becomes more challenging as we climb up. But don't worry, this is still very easy as compared to what machines are available on Hack the Box because this is specially designed for beginners. So before we start, we need to connect to the VPN so that when we spawn the first machine, we'll be able to connect to it from our local machine. So you can just navigate here, and since this is starting point, we have to click on starting point, and you can just download the file here. So I have selected EU starting point. So you just select the VPN access type and the VPN server type, choose UDP, and just download the VPN file. So here, as you can see, I downloaded the VPN file and it came with the name starting point, my username .ovpn. So in Linux, you can just use this command to connect to the VPN. You don't need any passwords or anything. You just run this command and you'll be connected to the VPN. Once you are connected, this button turns green as it is now because I've already connected. So as you scroll down, you'll see the first machine, which is MEOW. Uh, this is marked as very easy, and this is a Linux-based machine. I can tell if I hover here, you can see it's written Linux. Also, there are some tags. It says Telnet, network protocols, reconnaissance, weak credentials, misconfiguration. So we can expect that this machine might be running Telnet, and also we can see that there is weak credentials mentioned. So maybe we might be able to access Telnet somehow using some easy to guess credentials. So when you scroll down, you'll see an option to spawn. I've already done it to save some time here. So I'll just click on it. So when I click on the IP, it will be copied. And the first thing I would like to do is just run a port scan so that I can see what all ports and services are running on the machine. So even in real life scenario, if you are doing a network VAPT, you must run, like, this is the basic step. You must run open like port scan, full port scan to see what all ports and services are running. This will basically increase the attack surface, and you can find vulnerabilities in these open ports and services. So I've already run this here. So I've used this command. So this is, I'm basically using Nmap for port scanning. Hyphen SCV, basically this is connect and version scan. So you will get a detailed information about what service version is running on the open ports, which we'll be discovering in the scan. Hyphen T4, so this is basically the number of threads. So in Nmap, it starts from 0 to level 5. So I have kept level 4 here. Then hyphen P hyphen is for ports. So if you want to scan all ports, you can just keep hyphen P hyphen. hyphen OA. So I just wanted to save this nmap scan file. So I have selected all. So it will basically output three different types of files here. So these are the three different file formats which it has saved the scan results in. And then finally, I just name what output file I want and the IP of the machine here. So once this scan is run, you can see that we have found Telnet port as open as it was given in the tags as well. So in Linux, we have a command line utility which is called Telnet. We can just try connecting to this machine using, since we have only one port, this is the basic thing we can do here. I'll just type in the IP, the machine. I think I copied. Yeah. So this has got changed because I ran the nmap scan before and then I stopped the machine and now I've spawned it again. So the IP has got changed, but again the ports will remain the same. So I'll just try connecting to it. Okay, so I've got a login prompt here. So usually in these kind of scenarios, even in network VAPT, what I usually do is I just try inputting some, some default credentials that might be working or some common credentials based on the company I'm working for. So here our machine name is MEOW. So let's try the same as the username and as the password. So I'll just try it. Well, certainly this has failed. So, next most common is root. So let's try the username and password as root. Well, if you see here, we don't even need the password. So that's why it was mentioned weak credentials in the tag. So we just input root username and we were connected to this connection. So let's see what all we get here. Okay, so since this was a very easy machine, it just showed you how you can connect to Telnet and how can you try using some default credentials. Got the flag file, which usually stores the flag which we have to submit once we have done the machine and hack the box. So let's just cat it out. So here's our flag, we can just submit it. So basically there are different tasks given. So let's go through them one by one. So first thing, what does the acronym VM stands for? So also currently I'm using a virtual machine. So basically I can use Oracle VirtualBox or any other such softwares. I can install it on my Windows host and then I'll be able to run other OSs in that. So currently I'm running Kali Linux. So for VM here stands for virtual machine. You can just submit the answer here. I've already submitted, so I'm unable to do it right now. Next up, what tool do we use to interact with the operating system in order to issue commands via the command line, such as one to start a VPN connection. It is also known as a console or shell. So they've also given a hint here. So the correct answer is terminal. So this is what a terminal is basically. I'm able to issue commands and I was also able to connect to the VPN using terminal. Next up, what service do we use to form a VPN connection into HTB labs? So currently I used OpenVPN. So that is the answer. What is the abbreviated name for a tunnel interface in the output of your VPN boot up sequence output? So I would like you to check this once you are connected to the OpenVPN. Here the answer is TUN. What tool do we use to test our connection to the target with an ICMP echo request? So basically, here I didn't do it because I already knew that I'm connected. But just in case you are connected to the VPN, if you find some errors or before starting Nmap scan, you can just do a ping to the machine. So if you get a response back, you can make out that the you have a connection to the machine. What is the name of the most common tool for finding open ports on a target? So this is Nmap which we also used right now. So Nmap actually is the most common one. I use it on daily basis when I do network pen tests. What service do we identify on port 23 during our scans? So we find out that Telnet was running on port 23. What username is able to log into the target over Telnet with a blank password? So this was root, right? Submit root flag. So we found the flag here. You can just submit it here, and the next machine in tier 0 is the phone. Just on it from here and you will get the IP. I'll just copy the IP. Again, the first thing to do is to run the Nmap scan. I've already done it and I've found that port number 21, which runs the FTP service, is open, and this is the particular version that is running. Also, FTP is the file transfer protocol. So basically, it is used to transfer files. So once you are connected to a FTP connection, you can just upload files, download the files which are already there, and likewise. So here we have got only one port open. So let's try to connect to it. As we saw in the last machine, we had Telnet. So we had a online utility called Telnet, which was used to connect to the machine. Similarly, to connect to FTP service, there is a command line utility called FTP. So you can just put the command FTP and the machine IP here and press enter. So it asks us for username and password. So basically, login is implemented here. So in FTP, there's an option for logging in as anonymous. So if you don't have a account on this service, so you can just try using anonymous. In many cases I have found that it is allowed to log in as anonymous. Also, if you see here in our Nmap scan results, it has shown us that anonymous FTP login is allowed, and also it has shown that the FTP code is 230. So just in as an HTTP, we have status codes like basically if it's 200, okay, that means it's a successful request, right? So here it 230 means that there is a successful login attempt. So let's try anonymous here. So we have to keep the username and password both as anonymous, and you can see that we were able to log in successfully. Let's do ls. So we find that there is a flag.txt file, which is our ultimate goal for this machine. You are able to connect to the FTP service, and if you want to download these files to your machine, what you have to do is just use the get command. So get, and again the file name here. So this command will save this particular file in your local machine. So command successful. So if you want to close the FTP connection, just write by here. You'll be able to close it. I'll do ls, and here I've got the flag file. Just cat it out. So you can just submit it in the task of the machine. Let's see what all tasks are there. First thing, what does the three-letter acronym FTP stand for? So it's File Transfer Protocol. Which port does the FTP service listen on usually? So as we saw here, it was port number 21. What acronym is used for the secure version of FTP? So SFTP, so that is Secure FTP. What is the command we can use to send an ICMP echo request to test a connection on to the target machine? This we have seen in the last machine as well. The answer is ping. From your scans, what version is FTP running on the target? So in the Nmap scan result, we can see that this is the particular version of the FTP service running. We can submit it here. From your scan, what OS type is running on the target? So there are particular flags you can use in Nmap scan to get the OS version of the IP you are scanning. I would want you to research on this and find the answer. What is the command we need to run in order to display the FTP client help menu? So once you're connected to FTP and you don't know what all commands you need to run there, so you can just use FTP-H command, and this will list the possible commands you can run in an FTP connection. What is the username that is used over FTP when you want to log in without having an account? That is anonymous, which we use to log in this scenario as well. What is the response code we get for the FTP message login successful? So once we were able to log in, we got this message through 230 login successful. So the code is 230. There are a couple of commands we can use to list the files and directories available on the FTP server. One is dir, so this will list the directories. But what if you want to list the files on an system? So that is ls, which we used here to list the files, and we got the flag.txt in response. What is the command used to download the file we found on the FTP server? So that is the get command, which we use to save the flag.txt on a local machine. Submit the root flag. So once you submit the flag, the machine will be pawned. The last free machine in tier 0 is Redeemer, and I've spawned it. So I've got the IP here. And in the Nmap scan results, we find that port 6379 is open, which is usually used for the Redis service. So Redis is a database which uses key value pairs to store the data. And we will try connecting to it. So to connect to it, you can just install Redis tools in Linux. Already installed it. So I'll use the Redis CLI utility here. I'll use -h for the host. So here we have to put the IP of the machine. Okay, I've copied the right one. I'll press enter. Okay, so we see here that we are directly able to connect to it. Network VAPTs that I have performed or any assumed reached assessments that I have performed before. This is one of the service that I have found the most, which was unauthenticated. So in most of the scenarios, I found the Redis service is unauthenticated. And in this machine, we'll see that how we can extract some interesting info if this is found unauthenticated. So there's this one command called info. This will basically give you detailed information about the clients, the memory, the Redis server which we have connected to, etc. But here, for this particular machine, what is important to us is to get the keys and the values against these keys. So this will contain some interesting data. So this is the command for getting the keys. Let's enter it. Okay, so we see that 4 keys are here, and we know that this is a lab, so of course the flag will be an interesting key for us. So let's get the value for it. Get flag. So this command will get the value corresponding to the flag key, and we have got the flag. So we can just submit it. Let's see what all tasks are here. Which TCP port is open to on the machine? So in Nmap scan results, we saw that the Redis service port 6379 is open. Which service is running on the port that is open on the machine? That is the Redis service. What type of database is Redis? Choose the following options. So please research about this. You will learn something new about Redis and you can answer it here. Which command line utility is used to interact with the Redis server? Enter the program you would enter in the terminal without any arguments. So we use the Redis CLI. Which flag is used with the Redis command line utility to specify the host name? So while connecting, we specified the host name using the -h flag. Once connected to the Redis service, which command is used to obtain the information and statistics about the Redis service server? So that was the info command that we used. What is the version of the Redis server being used on the target machine? So while running nmap, if you use the -sv flag, you will get the service version, which is here, and you can submit it in the task. Which command is used to select the desired database in Redis? So there are databases in Redis, and there's a command called select you can use to select a particular database from which you want to get the information. How many keys are present inside the database with index 0? So say rated the keys and we found that there were 4 keys in here. So you can submit the answer. Which command is used to obtain all keys in a database? So since we were already connected to our database and we wanted to list all the keys, we used this command. Submit the root flag. So you can submit the flag here, and then the machine will be pawned. I hope you got some interesting information about network VAPT, how to approach a target, and you might have also learned about different services which we discussed in 4 different machines. So please continue doing your research on the same on the 4 machines. You can also go to Hactrix. I'll link it down below in description. You'll get some more details on how to exploit these services which we discussed. Also, I have done some write-ups of these machines. You can navigate to my Medium profile and you can find these here just in case you get stuck solving these again. Thank you and have a great day.